Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kendra, and today we're talking to my good friend Gary Kozlowski. Gary spent 40 years looking for his dad's 1970 Roadrunner.
Okay, so in 1970, my dad ordered this 70 Roadrunner convertible. He saw a Challenger in a parking lot one day that was this color, Moulin Rouge, Panther Pink, and fell in love with it and went to a dealership and fought with the dealership salesman for literally half an hour over the existence of the color because it was a mid-year release and nobody knew about it. So when they finally figured it all out, they were able to order the car, and he put together, the whole package that it's got all kind of go fast goodies on it and stuff. He optioned out really, really weird. So made it really unique, not for collector purposes, but just because he wanted to go out street racing and have fun with it. So he had it for a couple of years, got in a lot of trouble with it, got engaged, got rid of the car to settle down, got rid of the girl, married the girl across the street instead, and wished for the rest of his life till the day he died that he never got rid of this car. I showed up in '74. I never got to see the car, but my whole life it was like a missing sibling to me. Just stories from my dad and all my uncles who actually hated Mopar stuff and would humble themselves over the stories of how this car used to beat up all their favorite cars was just so intriguing to me as a kid, and I was obsessed with it my whole life. As a little kid, I remember every day of my life looking out windows in cars from 5 years old until 40 when I found it, searching for this car in backyards and windows and fields and barns, and just looking for my dad's car my whole life. When the internet came around, 20 some years ago, I beat the crap out of the internet every day with "Have you seen me" ads on every possible avenue I could find. And then a couple of years ago, I put one on the Panther Pink and Moulin Rouge Facebook page, and it started getting a lot of attention. A lot of people shared it, on their own pages. And then on April 15th, 2015, which is the anniversary of my grandfather's death, I got a text message from a guy who shared it on his page with a screenshot of a man named Dave Belcars, who said, "I know where that car is. It's been sitting in a barn in Cadillac for almost 40 years. So I got in touch with Dave, and then he connected me to the guy who owned the car, and I got in touch with him later that day and talked to him almost every day for 3 months until I was able to go see the car. And then I was able to secure a loan to pay the ransom to bring it home, and in December of 2015, she came home to her family.
Amazing. What did your dad say when you found the car?
I lost my dad in 2002, so he didn't get to see it. But every day when I open the garage, I get to say, "Hi, Dad," and that's awesome.
What are you going to start restoring?
As soon as I pay off that hairy loan that I had to take out to get it, I had to cough up $35,000 for what you see here. The guy that had the car, he overvalued it a bit, and he knew that I had to have it, and he raised the price on me a bit for it. And it's pretty shady, but it's water under the bridge, and if he didn't save it from the junkyard in 1976, it would have got crushed, and I would have spent my life searching for it. So it is what it is. I have my dad's car. I have my lifelong mission. Now I get to pay that loan off, and maybe somebody who can step up and sponsor it and help put this thing back on the road so we can have fun with it again.
These are the stories that people want to hear.
Yeah, I've told this story 100 times this weekend, and it's so incredibly well received. I mean, I've told this story, I swear, probably 5,000 times in my life. It's I know everything about the car, the salesman's name, where he finished his career at what dealership, and every option on the car I knew already, and I never had a VIN number. I had one little Polaroid and a bunch of stories is all I had to find the car. One of my favorite parts of the car is my dad always told me, growing up, how he found a gallon of light pastel pink house paint on his mom's back porch. He was 23 when he owned the car, when he came home from Vietnam, and he painted the inner wheel wells with this house paint, because that's kind of what people did. They would paint the inside of the wheel wells, usually white, something real contrasting to the body color. Well, he found this light pink paint, and he painted them with house paint. So when I built that model car, which I built 20 years ago, I found the car 2 years ago. I built that 20 years ago. I painted the inside of the wheel wells with really light pink paint, because that's how my dad said it was supposed to be. When I found this car and I looked under the wheel wells, the paint is still there. It's amazing. It was when I saw that, it was mind-boggling. It moved the earth. It was crazy.
What was it like when you saw it? I mean, when you finally found that car? I mean, you've been searching for this for your whole life.
It was weird. Like, as soon as we pulled up, we saw, the guy had the barn open, and we pulled up, and I'm like, oh my God. And I just started shaking, and it was like, someone in the time that my dad didn't have it painted the hood stripes white. So it was, different, but I knew that going in. The guy told me that, but he also called me and said, you're right, the stripe is black. You could see it coming through the paint now, So I just knew it was my dad's car. The options all matched. He found it in a junkyard 20 minutes from where my dad lived when he sold it, and they only made 6 pink convertibles. So there's no way it couldn't have been, but I didn't have a VIN number, so there's like no actual proof. And then, I saw it and I'm walking around it and I just felt it. I felt this like crazy feeling like, I can't believe like I found it, and then the passenger fender wasn't bolted on. There was like a bunch of sheets of plywood leaning up against it. And I pulled the plywood away and I looked and I saw that paint in there, that house paint. I'm like, what the hell? And I run over to this side and I looked, and it was like I saw a ghost. Like, I turned white, I ran out of the barn, I doubled over, I couldn't breathe. My wife thought I was having a heart attack, and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, go look behind the wheels, look in the wheel wells. And she looked and she's like, oh my God, it's your dad's. So it was really cool. So, now like literally every day I get to say hi to my dad again.
All right, guys, that's all I have today on Gary's story. I know he's still in the restoring process for the Roadrunner, but as soon as I hear more on that, I will update you guys. Again, this is one of those cars that I found at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals in Chicago. Big vehicle turnout. Some cars are finished and show cars. Others are still a work in progress. There's a great barn find section at this show, and it's definitely one of my favorites. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Later, cruisers.